G'day, I'm Justin Porter. And I just rang up my beautiful wife in the hospital. There's the photos of Nikki and I when we got married. And I was 36 and Nikki was 25. And I just rang her up in the hospital. And I didn't go and visit her in the hospital today because an elder and his wife are visiting Nicole. So an elder and his wife are visiting Nicole, so I didn't go. Now, this elder was one of my very good friends when I was Jehovah's Witness. He was a field service conductor and a very good friend of mine. And his wife's very good friends with Nicole, and they've been friends for years. And he's a lovely brother. And when I dissociated, he cried. He actually cried. And when I went to work window cleaning, the elder, my very good friend, he came round with another elder to see Nikki. I don't know if it's suss out to see if Nikki had gone apostate too, but he cried in front of the other elder because of me. He loved me. He was a very good friend, and he was devastated. And when I got home from window cleaning, now this was in the year 2018. So this was in the year 2018. So 7 years ago. So that night, Nikki told me he was crying because you've dissociated. And out of the blue too, it was out of the blue, you know. And what happened, I rang him up on the phone, and he said to me, is this Justin? Justin, I'm not talking to you. You've left Jehovah. Slam down the phone. You've left Jehovah. Slam down the phone. You're disfellowshipped. I think he said that, you know. And disfellowship, well, I dissociated, but he cut off all communication. Now, this lovely brother, who was a really good friend with me, has been shunning me for the last 7 years. And yesterday, Nikki said to me, oh, they're coming, your good friend, the elder, and his wife, and they might be nice to you, Justin. She says they might be nice to you, and they may even give you a lift home from the hospital so I don't have to jump on 3 buses and get a taxi up the hill, you know. So to come home, I have to catch 3 separate buses and go up the hill because they're too steep, you know, at night time, and get a taxi. 3 kilometres for $10. So, and I said, oh, I know I won't come in to visit you today. Because I don't want to be treated like it's, you know, I want to be treated normal. I want them to accept me for who I am. I'm an agnostic atheist, and accept me for that. And because this elder's a lovely brother, but he's been shunning me the last 7 years. Nikki and I went to the hairdressers to get our hair done, you know, haircut, you know. And he was at the hairdressers getting his hair cut. And Nikki said, oh, hello, brother. And I said, oh, g'day. And I said, I love you, brother. And he shunned me, you know, he shunned me in the hairdresser. And I got my hair cut done first, and Nikki went over and talked to the elder. So he was talking to me, and I said to the other hairdresser lady, oh, well, he's shunning me. He's shunning me because I've left the religion, you know. And he's shunning me, you know. And I'm ex-Jehovah's Witness. And she goes, oh, right, you know. But he's very lovely. He's doing it out of love. He's shunning me out of love. He believes he wants me to come back to Jehovah God. I've left Jehovah God. And by shunning me, it'll make me return to Jehovah God, you know. And this lovely elder, he's had about 3 barbecues or 4 barbecues where Nikki's been invited. And of course, I haven't been invited. And his wife said, bring a trifle. You know, trifle, it's custard, jello, or we call it jelly, but if you're in America, you call it jello, with sponge cake, jello, jelly, and custard, and cream on top with fruit, you know, tinned fruit like apricots and strawberries on top. It's really nice. It's really nice trifle. And Nikki will make a big bowl of it and take it to the barbecue. And at the barbecue, get together, Jehovah's Witness get together, like their book study thing, or just a barbecue. Nikki brings a trifle. And when Nikki comes home, there'll be a little bit left in the bottom of the bowl, the trifle bowl. Oh, that's for you, Justin. That's for you. That bit of trifle, we left that, brothers and sisters, left that for you. And I thought, I'm not eating that. So I threw it out because I'm not going to eat the scraps of a trifle. At the very base of the bowl, there's this trifle. Over 20 different Jehovah's Witnesses have been standing over this bowl, scooping out my wife's trifle, right, and eating it. And they left a little bit for me like I'm like a stray dog. And expect me, oh, we left a little bit for you. And I wouldn't eat it. And that was the first time she ever got invited to a barbecue get-together without me, her apostate, atheist, evolutionist husband. And then the next time she got invited to barbecue, she knew I wasn't going to eat the last of the trifle. And would you? Would you eat the last of the skerricks at the bottom of the bowl? Oh, I'll keep that for your disfellowshipped apostate husband, atheist, you know. No, and you wouldn't eat it either, I'm sure, in YouTube land. So every time she'd go a Jehovah's Witness barbecue get-together, she'd make me a little trifle of my own, just a tiny one. I'd just get like she'd make a big one for all the Jehovah's Witnesses. And when the guy that sold me my window cleaning business, when his wife was in hospital, the sisters in the congregation had to make up a meal for him because his wife's in hospital. And he's a man in his 90s, and his wife's in her 80s, and she was in hospital. And I would cook up roast chicken, baked potatoes. I'll cook up a roast dinner. I would cook the roast dinner and give it to this brother that would be shunning me. and I said, tell Nikki it was me that made the baked dinner. It was me, the apostate, evil husband, that made your baked dinner. And she went up to his door and gave him the meal because the sisters were on a roster to feed him because his 80-something-year-old wife was in the hospital and he's in his 90s. So feeding him. And I cooked that meal. I cooked up the meal and because I can do baked dinners, Nikki's taught me a lot about cooking, but I cooked it up and, And really weird. Oh, and the other shunning experience was, I've had a lot of shunning experiences over these 7 years, but the other shunning experience was in the doctor's surgery in about 2021. Now, in 2021, I'd been doing YouTube for about a year, and in 2021, I became an atheist, agnostic atheist, I think we should all be agnostic. Christians, agnostic Buddhist, agnostic Hindu, agnostic Muslim, whatever. But I'm agnostic atheist. I became an agnostic atheist in 2021 when I turned 60. In 2021. And we're at the doctor's surgery, and this brother in his 50s came up to Nikki and I, and he said, g'day, Sister Nicole. G'day, Sister Nicole. How are you? And I said, g'day, brother. And he put his hand in my face, and he says, I'm not talking to you. He said hello to me. He said, hello, Sister Nikki, my wife. And then I said, hello, brother, how are you? And then he put his hand in my face like that, like to block me out. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. And I said, well, I've got you've left Jehovah, he said. And I said, well, I have a YouTube channel if you want to know why I left Jehovah, if you want to know why. And he said, I don't want to listen to your apostate YouTube channel. I'd listen to your apostate YouTube channel. And he was really rude, right? And Nicky was really upset at him because he was so rude. He was like very rude to me and very almost aggressive, putting his hand in my face like that. No, not talking to you. You shut up, like. And so Nicky had a go at him. She had a go at him. And the next time I saw him down the supermarket, he came up to Nicky and I, and he said, look, I want to apologise, Justin, for the other day for being rude and putting your hand in the face. And I was over the top. I want to apologise. I'm very sorry, Justin. And I said, don't apologise, brother. I used to shun people too. And I know what it's like. I used to shun people too. And it's not nice. Yes, I was a shunner. I'd shun people, And he looked at me funny. And, rightio, we'll see you then. Bye then. And he walked off. And then every time he sees me in the supermarket, from that time on, he shuns me, but he shuns me with a smile on his face, like, a nice shunning. Like, that's the way. Well, you want to shun nicely, not like, don't you? Don't talk to me, you apostate, evil atheist. But yeah. That's a nice shun. That's how you nice shun, So every time he sees me, he smiles, waves. And in 2023, our car caught fire in December 2023. We had the oil cap came off the car and oil sprayed on the engine. Our car caught fire while we were driving, lost the car, and we didn't know much about the Bow Desert. We didn't know much about the taxis here. So what happened, Nicky would ring up the brothers and sisters, Jehovah's Witness brothers and sisters, to give us lifts down to the doctor's surgery. Before we found out about the taxis here, And so she would ring up the brothers and sisters, and he came, and he gave Nicky and I a lift. And Nicky said to me, the brothers and sisters, because I'm her carer's pension, I look after. Nicky said to me that, look, don't talk to the brother or sister when they're driving us down. Don't talk to them at all, Justin, because they're not going to talk to you. I thought, rightio, they're going to talk to me. So I just come in and I said, thank you. And then So I did that with him, this brother. And when he was driving, he said, he turned round at the traffic lights and he said, wouldn't it be nice, Nicky, if somebody who lives here in this town got the truth and returned back to the truth? Wouldn't that be nice? And he looked at me, he said, Justin, wouldn't it be nice if you returned back to the truth? And I said, I'm an atheist now. I'm an atheist. Like, he was shocked. I said, yeah, I believe we only get one life. I don't believe in a God. We're still agnostic, but as far as I know, there's, and he was just shocked. And he just shut him up like that. And when we got back to the destination, I said, thank you, brother. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's kind of you. And then what happened, the other one was just people shunning you when they're giving you a lift, like Jehovah's Witnesses giving Nicky a lift to the doctors and just shunning me, and just, so thank you. No, just, yeah. No, don't know if we should have you in the car. And then we got taxis because I couldn't handle it, couldn't handle being, And I had a brother, this elder, who visiting Nikki now in hospital, this elder and his wife, this elder said to Nikki, Nicole, if I ever saw Justin broken down at the side of the road, he said this to Nikki in about 2023 when I had a car. He said, if I ever saw Justin broken down at the side of the road, I would give him a lift and help him out, give him a lift home, but I wouldn't talk to him. And and Nikki, sometimes I'd say to Nikki, oh, this shunning's ridiculous, Nikki. And Nikki will say, well, you left Jehovah, come back to Jehovah. And I said, well, sometimes I get tempted, Nikki. Sometimes I get tempted to go back just to have that community and the friendships. Because when I was Jehovah's Witness, Nikki and I would get invited to all the weddings. All the weddings we'd get invited to. Because I was never an elder or ministerial servant or nothing. We always get invited to all the weddings, all the get-togethers, all the funerals, and people would have us round for dinner and, and they thought I was funny. They thought I was the life of the party, and they loved me, And it wasn't too strict because I wasn't born into it. So I got converted when I was 27. And when I was 27, I was smoking dope. I was a grey-headed 27-year-old, smoking marijuana, smoking cigarettes, looking at porn, masturbating, listening to Alice Cooper and Elton John and Black Sabbath music. And it took me 8 years before I got baptised. And I got baptised in 1988. No. That's when they first knocked on my door in 1988 when I was 27. But I got baptised in 1996 when I was 35. I gave up cigarettes in 1993 at the age of 32. And I gave up marijuana in 1991 when I was 30. So it took me 8 years of studying the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses before I got baptised. So I started studying the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses in 1988. Took me 8 years before I got baptised because I was smoking cigarettes and smoking dope and living like a practicing atheist, And now I don't take dope. I don't drink alcohol at all. Don't take any drugs. I'm drug-free, alcohol-free. And I am a practicing atheist. And at the bus stop the other day, taxi stop, not the bus stop, the taxi stop the other day, this lady came up and sat next to me and she goes, do you mind if I smoke? And I said, yes, I do mind. Because I don't want to breathe in your cigarette smoke. I said, I'm an atheist and I only get one life. I believe we only get one life and I don't want to breathe in your tobacco smoke. So I'm going to move over there. So I moved about 3 metres away and I could still smell her cigarette. I thought, why should I have to breathe in this tobacco smoke? Because I treasure my life. I only get one life. As far as I know, I don't like being an arrogant atheist. I know. And, and that's the way I am. Like, a very precious life. Look after it. I've got to look after my wife. My wife doesn't drink alcohol. She got cirrhosis of the liver, But what I wanted to say is that, the shunning, 7 years of shunning. And the worst shunning, the sister that chaperoned Nikki and I back in 1997 and 1998, she got married. She got married in 2023, and I wasn't invited to the wedding, of course, because I'm an apostate atheist. And this sister lives 440 kilometres out west. Now, Nikki didn't have a car, right? And I still had the car, but I didn't want to drive all the way out there and drive back and didn't trust the car. It was a pretty bomby old car. you know, and it was a Hyundai Elantra, you know, 2004 model. So it was a 20-year-old car, you know. And so what happened, she was coming into Brisbane to pick up her 30-year-old daughter and to go, you know, to go to the wedding at 440 k's out west. So what happened after 3 days, right, this sister, who used to chaperone me, who was my very best friend, besides Nikki, my favourite sister in the congregation, she drove Nikki back to our house, and they knocked on the door and I answered the door. And I said, "Oh, g'day, sister." And she just didn't say hello back. She didn't say hello back. She had a really sad look. And she was with her 2 daughters. She was with her 25-year-old daughter and her 15-year-old daughter. And I said, "Come in." I said, "Come in. I've got some fried chicken," because I made some fried chicken in the air fryer. "Come in, I'm having lunch. You know, come in and have something to eat and drink." And they looked at me really sad. And the 2 daughters smiled at me. You know, like the young 15-year-old girl smiled at me because she thought, what's going on here? No, she was 13, sorry. And the 25-year-old just looked really sad, like really sad faces. Because they wanted to come in and say hello to me and fried chicken. It smelt really nice too. So come in. But the Bible says don't even eat a meal with such a one in 1 Corinthians chapter 5, you know. That stupid Apostle Paul never ever met Jesus. He invented the shunning policy. The Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 5, he never ever met Jesus. Never met him, you know. Met Jesus in a hallucinogenic vision on some little brown mushrooms, magic mushrooms he ate. He was hallucinating of his head. Get the Bible, get some scissors and just cut everything out. Just leave what Jesus said. Because what Jesus said was pretty nice. Well, not everything Jesus said. Jesus said don't become unevenly yoked with unbelievers. That's what Jesus said. He said don't become... Did Jesus say that one? I don't know. I'm a bit rusty with the Bible lately. But, yeah. And, you know, you've got to love your mother. No, you've got to love me more than you love your son or your daughter or your brother or your sister or your mother. That's a little bit egotistical, Jesus. Some things Jesus said, a little bit egotistical. Jesus was a little bit rude to his mother too. He said to his mother, "Mary, what have I got to do with you, woman?" At a party they were having. It's a bit rude. But then again, Jesus was only human. You know. Nice sayings. Well, apparently a lot of Jesus' sayings were taken by the Greek, were copied from the Greek philosopher Plato. And Jesus also quotes the book of Enoch about 120 times, you know. So I love the character of Jesus in the Bible, don't get me wrong. So Colin Zafke from the CO Visit, I love Jesus. I love Jesus a lot more. I love Jesus a lot more than he's Jehovah, his psycho dad. Jehovah the psycho dad. I do not like Jehovah at all. No. I left Jehovah. I don't like Jehovah. Love Jesus. Nice character. Not perfect. Only human, Jesus. But nice. Fair enough, you know. Only human, though. Pretty nice guy. Like Elvis. Pretty amazing. Elvis was the most amazing person of the 20th century. Jesus Christ was the most amazing person in the millennium. In the millennium, for 2,000 years. No one's more famous or popular than Jesus. So Jesus beats Elvis by 1 million. Jesus is the most popular person in history. No other person is as popular as Jesus. No one even close. No one even close. But it's a shame that Jesus never apologized for the bad behavior of his psychopathic dad, Jehovah. You know, Yahweh, you know. But yeah, I've had some pretty weird shunning experiences, and the sadness on this sister's face. She was my very best friend, besides Nikki. She chaperoned us. because when you get married, you've got to have a chaperone, so no hanky-panky chaperoned us. And, you know, what it is, I'll tell you what it is. When Catholics and Protestants fight with each other, when Christians and Jehovah's Witnesses fight with each other, when Shiite Muslims and Sunni Muslims fight with each other, when Jews and Arabs fight with each other, when Hindus and Sheiks fight with each other, they're not really fighting. They're not really fighting. They're actually fighting against death. They're fighting against death. So when Jehovah's Witnesses shun you, they're fighting against death. They're shunning death. The religious people shun death. Just accept the reality of death. And we would have no religious wars. Just accept that we die. We don't live forever. We die. So stop fighting about death, and there'll be no more. That's why religious people fight amongst themselves. They're fighting each other. Fighting each other. Well, I've got to go now. My beautiful wife's just rang up. Bye-bye.